This is the Spotlight segment. Stay tuned for premium interviews, device unboxing, and more.
Let's now move on to the RScan, and I want to welcome our guest, Rastislav. Rastislav, how about you go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're located, and then we'll get to talking about the RScan, which I believe the R there in that scan represents your name.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Well, okay, so to start about a little bit about my background. So my name is Rastislav r.kish. Blind listeners of this podcast might know me from various blind-related mailing lists and forums. And well, what to say about me? I'm sort of hard to classify person. I have finished high school like 2 years ago, and now, well, I have gone to study to a university, and I was studying theoretical mathematics for a while, but then I have decided that I want something more challenging. So I have cancelled my study, and right now I'm mostly working, doing some programming work, so I can get funds for further study. So that's sort of my personal life, but probably for our audience, more interesting is my software production. That's what people usually know me by. When you can find my creation on my GitHub profile, and I really I have a lot of ideas and a lot of projects in mind. So I really love to get those done, and I also love exploration and sharing my experiences. I have been traveling around the world, like individually visiting various countries as a blind person, and writing about it. So it's very diverse. My background is very diverse. So are the interests. So whatever you like, it's probably supported.
Well, Rastislav, this is absolutely beautiful. Just knowing that you just graduated from high school like a couple of years ago and you are into all of these things. And what I find interesting is that, you actually are not finding math challenging enough for you. Here, I was struggling with math more than anything else. I mean, I'm absolutely lousy at math and probably was the worst subject I ever had to work with was math. And whoever invented math, I don't know what they were drinking, but I'm so excited to see someone, a blind person, liking math and doing things like that. I mean, it simply blows me away. And so we're happy to have you here. And so we're going to talk about your scanner, the QR code scanner, barcode scanner. Let's talk about this. Why did you start doing this, or what led you to inventing, or rather developing the R scanner? Were you kind of not satisfied with some of the solutions we've got out there, or what was some of the things, or were some of these things that led you to thinking, hey, what? I just want to do something else and see how it works, or were you just kind of not very satisfied with some of the solutions out there?
Yes, indeed. That's how most of the inventions are done. So basically, well, the RScan project started a few years ago when I was still on the high school, and the reason was very simple, because you see, my brain works on sweets. Yes, like I need sugar and especially chocolate
Thank you.
for my brain to yes to work properly. And so at home we had like like a box, like a cartoon box that has been always like filled with various chocolates and other sweets, and I would always go and get one, but there was always the problem that I never knew like which chocolate is like which, right? So you can sometimes you can tell like do an approximation based on the shape of the chocolate, but
Exactly.
there are especially if you have multiple chocolates of the same brand, then it can be literally impossible to determine the flavor and other parameters without like technique. So then we had back then we already had Lookout, if I'm right, and these OCR applications. So great, like I was like, okay, I'm going to use an OCR application and read what flavor it is. Well, that worked when the name of the chocolate and the flavor was written on the front side, front side, and it was readable, and it was the only information there, right?
Yeah.
And utopic scenario, like yes, sometimes it works, but many times it just can't read what's in the front side, because there's always some fancy graphics and
Yeah.
colorful fonts, and so you get either nothing at all, or you get like the brand name, but not the specific flavor. It's even worse. It's even worse with chips and various bags that have like curved surface, and reading those can be really a pain. So then you are like, okay, I'm going to turn the chocolate around, and there is more information written on the back side. So, well, probably there, but yes, okay, but you do that, and you do an OCR, and then you are getting a description on how to on what's the chocolate composed of in like 20 different languages, and like you are getting the information about all the chemicals that are in the chocolate, about all the sugar and fat information and calories. You get everything except the flavor, right?
Yeah.
Because why not? So this was really something pretty annoying, and I was like, okay, this is not an ideal way to go. But I was like, wait a minute, like every single product has an unique identifier placed right on it, and that is the barcode, right? Every product that's being sold on the market needs to have a barcode, and barcodes are plus specially made, so they would be easy to read by machines, right? So this was sort of like a very easy connection. So okay, so let's make an software that would scan the barcode and read right away what's the product. So that's how RScan started as a project. My initial idea was that it would be simply based on my own labeling, because there was just a certain set of sweets that I have consumed like most often. So it would even manual labeling would quite work, because, well, perhaps it would be good to mention for people who are not into this, that the barcodes that are placed on the products are just identifiers. They don't carry information about the product itself. The barcode is just a number that that acts as an identifier for a product, but and it's unique for that product. But there is no like central database that would be that would contain the information about what that number is assigned to, at least not in the with the European barcodes. So well, yes. So the first version of RScan was working based on manual labeling, and yes, it worked. It worked really great. And then the usefulness of this application has even increased when I when I went studying to university, and I have got my own rented flat, and in the flat, like in Bratislava, I was living like completely on my own, uh, and now, being a student, I was the kind of person who was too busy to do cooking, but at the same time, I didn't have enough money to afford, like, a full-fledged restaurants. That's probably a dilemma of every student out there, especially with the prices that we have today. That's absolutely crazy. So yes, uh, so my the way that my uh, you know uh, eating works is basically like cans and various half products. So, and in this setting, it was RScan became even more important, because I have ordered. I was usually doing food orders for time intervals about 1 or 2 weeks, and I have usually had at least 1 or 2 cans per day of something. So I have made an order in a shop, and uh, I have received few bags of like 30 cans, 15 to 30 cans, and there was a need to sort them out efficiently, and uh, then RScan became very useful, and I have implemented and special algorithm into the application that could simply search out the barcode on the internet and just tell me and just choose the description automatically for me, right? So there was no longer the need for manual labeling, because I have noticed that whenever I search for a barcode online, like on Google or DuckDuckGo, then you got like plenty of results, and mostly you have somewhere in the results also the product that's assigned for the barcode, because various e-shops and sellers are publishing this information, uh, and now I was like, at first I was not sure if how to process this information, because we did not have like Chat GPT back in what year is it was 2021. So that there was no technology that you could that could efficiently process human language, but I have noticed that like in 95% of cases, whenever you are scanning something, there is usually some kind of measure associated with that item. So, for example, if you are scanning a bottle, then you usually get a volume of the bottle in its description. If you get for example, a chocolate, then you get also the information of the weight of the chocolate, right? Like whether it's 100 grams or 300 grams on or what weight, and this is the case with most of products. And I was like, okay, so wait a second, I could use this information and program my application so it would automatically search for these units, right? in the search results, and and if it would favorize these the search results that contain this information, then it's very likely that such such search result is the information that you as a user want to hear. So yes, I have designed this algorithm that is capable of automatically searching up a barcode on the internet, and it works. It works really, really well. I have to say it, like as I mentioned that uh, I was a very heavy user myself of RScan, because I needed to process every order that I made, and it worked very well. Like really, 90 to 95% of things I have scanned with it were automatically described without the need for me to do anything. So this worked out very, very well. Actually, far better than I have estimated at the beginning. And yes, so this is the current RScan. It's very efficient, especially if you have many items that you need to recognize and put in groups and organize in your storage. And RScan is very, very good in this regard, and it's far faster than the OCR solutions are in this use case.
Absolutely beautiful. So you know what? We will have to demonstrate this for our um, podcast. In other words, we'll have to demonstrate the app. You've already given us everything about the app as it is. But let's talk about some of
Mhm.
the things. You're a blind person yourself, which makes it more unique because you know where it hurts. I've always argued that, when a blind person does something, they know where the pain points are, where it hurts the most. And so
Mhm.
you're coming from that background and you know where it hurts. Now, I've heard over and over again, and one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of accessible apps, or for Android or whatever, is that a lot of the people always often complain that developing with accessibility in mind is something hard. Now, of course, and you are blind, and here you are, you don't even have sight to use some of the maybe the whatever developing tools out there. Was there any problem for you in making it compatible with the our screen readers, or in other words, making it accessible? Was there any challenges that you ran into that kind of left you wringing your hand, or was it just something that just worked?
I'm always very positive in my reviews of the Android SDK UI framework. Uh, for non technical listeners of this podcast, uh, I would like to give such an analogy that uh, building a software application is sort of similar to constructing a building, because even if when you are constructing a building, then you are not manufacturing there is just a fraction of components that you are manufacturing yourself, and most of the actual building is coming from components that are already made by someone else, and you just put them together and create the building, right? It's like bricks and the rods and I don't know, planks and whatever is used on in building things. And it's similar with software. Programmers usually don't implement everything uh, from scratch when they are developing an application, but they instead try to reuse as much as possible the work done by other developers for for the common tasks. Like, for example, if you want to have an application, then you probably want to have like a window. In the window, you want to have like buttons and edit fields and list views and other components that are the same like in every application. So where very good programmers have already made awesome like uh, frameworks and libraries to deal with these tasks. And all you need to do as programmer is just to take these and use them in your project. And uh, the really good thing about Android is that from the very start, Android SDK, that's the set of tools that Android developers need to use in order to make Android applications, have been providing a unified framework for creating these user interfaces. And the framework turned out to be good enough that most of Android developers just use it, and and uh, and don't have a need to do some weird workarounds and other stuff. And given that Google really apparently really put large effort into making the accessibility of this framework work, then as a consequence, it's pretty easy as far as you use this Android provided framework to develop your applications. It's very easy to get applications accessible, even if it's not your original point, right? So that's really an awesome thing. And you can see it in practice, that if you compare, for example, Android applications with Windows applications, there is it's much more likely that an Android application is going to be accessible, or at least usable, if not truly accessible. Like, by usable, I mean that you have, for example, apps with button buttons that lack description, but that's not something that would absolutely prevent you from using the app. Like, you can still figure out what the unlabeled buttons are doing, and just use the app. It would be much worse if the buttons in the application were not presented at all to the screen reader, and then, like, you would be doing what, right? Remembering the locations, that would be much more difficult. So many apps in Android are at least usable, if not directly quite well accessible, which is really a great thing compared to, for example, Windows or even Linux. Like, applications that are done in the Qt framework are common in the blind community for their accessibility. But uh, uh, s- is the situation with many other frameworks, desktop graphical user interface frameworks, that they don't implement accessibility properly, or don't implement it at all, and in consequence, whatever the developers uh, build using these frameworks is just inherently not accessible, because the components themselves are wrong. But on Android, fortunately, it's really, as far as you are doing an ordinary architecture, and not some unusual stuff like with games or other special software that needs special treating of the UI, then it's very likely that an Android app is going to be accessible, even if it's not something that you would consider while developing it.
Wonderful. Now, so the app, though, like I said, we're going to be demonstrating it, but it's a very simplistic app. For example, does
Mhm.
one need to, tap anything when you say like take picture or anything like that, or simply just launch the app and point it at the product and keep rotating it till you find what you need?
Yes, yes, absolutely. This is always a very important designing consideration, whatever am I doing, because for example, I will give you an application. I will give you another example as my private project. Well, as a person in the city where I'm coming from, we have streets where it is very difficult for a blind person to walk in a straight line, because you know, whether you can or cannot maintain a direction depends partly on the surface that you are walking on, if it's curvy or there are slopes and whatever features. Then that's natural changer of the walking direction. And so I have developed for my personal use case an application that allows me to uh, keep straight direction while walking using my smartphone, right? So my smartphone is tracking the direction that I'm walking in using the compass, and if I change the direction more than is a given threshold, then it will start vibrating and telling me that I have changed my direction, and in which direction I have like diversed, so I can return back to the original line. And it was also in this application, a very important aspect for consideration was the convenience, because because you know, when you are standing on a pavement, and you need to cross a road, and there are cars waiting, and you might be on an intersection, so you need to track traffic lights, and you need to keep awareness of your surrounding. Then you don't have the time or mental resources to play with some kind of touch interface. So I have designed the application in such a way that it tracks the way it tracks like the way I'm holding my smartphone, or its orientation in space. And when I put it in straight direction, like in like I point it in front of myself, then the application knows that this is the signal to fix my current direction. And uh, and from that moment it starts like tracking the direction that I'm walking in. And when I put the smartphone down, because this is an orientation that's very usual for a smartphone to be in. You usually don't use smartphone like this, so it's unique. And the fact that's unique is it's the reason why it's great for this use case. And so when I cross the road and no longer need the walking correction, then I can just put it back to normal position, and it automatically deactivates. So the convenience factor has always been very important for me as a developer. Also because I'm, as a person, very lazy, so I want things to work easily and out of the box. So yes, even with RScan, I wanted something to work as quickly as possible, and right away, and without the need to do anything special, like just launch the app and start working.
So regarding the tracking the direction using the compass and the tracking the traffic lights, is this a different app, or does this get included
Yes,
in
yes,
RScan?
yes, yes, that's a different application. That's my private project. I don't think I've actually published it, but yeah, yes, that's my private project that I have developed when I was going to my to high school, because I have been always I had been like always going by foot, and my high school was not particularly close to my home, so I needed to go like through the whole city. Like the city I'm coming from is not like very big, but it's not really small either. So it took some time, and had various roads and terrains on my way. So yes, this was my this was my attempt to make my walks as efficient as possible, so I wouldn't be end up walking like in the middle of the roads, or going to crazy directions.
So if this app does not use any GPS or something, it's just sensors in your phone, I think you should publish it because it can help a lot of people to track these things.
Yes, yes. I mean, yeah, but I think that some other people could absolutely find it useful. I certainly did. So it was awesome for me. I have the reason it didn't get published is, as with my projects, and that that I start working on something, and then just have a ton of other ideas. So I move on before absolutely finishing it, and well, there are just so many ideas and awesome things that I'm working on. That yes, Arnev is the name of the project, by the way. Like, see the R naming convention, and
Exactly.
so yes, it's a cool project. I really like it, and but the problem is that I have like 20 cool projects on the table, and
You know what, Rastislav, you just need to kind of bring RNAV to the Play Store, because I'm sure, like Austin said, I think
Yeah,
people
because
like to use
it'll
it.
help
So
a
it
lot of
sounds
people.
like it's
Yeah.
something that is useful in as much as we have the RScan. If you could bring that also, that would be great. Now, but let's talk about the compatibility of RScan. What's the minimum requirement that one needs? Because we have listeners all over the world, and some may be in other countries that could only afford very low budget phones, or mid-rangers. What's the minimum API that this RScan requires? Can one run it like on something, let's say, crazy, like a lollipop device, for example?
Mhm. Yes, I think lollipop would be sort of out
Android
of the range.
version 5, yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's really an archaic
Yeah.
operating system.
Yeah. So
Although
what's your
it's really.
target though? I mean, what's the lowest target
Mhm,
of RScan? I mean, like,
mhm.
what's the minimum? What's the lowest target? Is it Pi, or is it Oreo, or is it Android 10? I mean, what's the lowest target?
The lowest target is set to, and now I can tell you that it's as far as my memory works well, then it's Android API version 24. And now, if you know what Android version that means, that's great, because I don't. but
I
but
think that
I
24. Does
I
anyone want to take a stab
it's
at what API 24 is?
I think it's I think it's
So,
7. I think it's Android 7, but I'm
so
not sure.
API 24 is Android Nougat.
Yeah,
Android
you're
7 is
correct. So
that.
it's Android
Mhm,
Yeah,
7, that's Nougat.
yeah.
So
mhm,
if you have anything lower than Android
mhm,
Nougat, so if you have Marshmallow or Lollipop and going down and falling back to Kit Kat or something stupid like that. I mean, even
mhm,
Google has barred off Kit Kat from accessing apps and things
mhm,
like that. So I'm glad to see that, at least the lowest target is Android 7. And I don't know if there are many people out there using Android 7. Most people would have at least Pi, the Android 9 or higher. And so
Yes.
that's a good target.
Yes, it is. I mean, certainly, I remember having smartwatches from China from several years ago that were already running a full fledged Android 8, like I think that's Oreo. So yes, when smartwatches can for few $100s can run Android 8, that I think that it's really a reasonable target. That's no devices with considerably lower Android versions are relevant by these days.
Okay, first I want to welcome you. Actually, it's great to hear from blind developers, especially at your age, which is, I consider it a young age. And I think that with time, you will be having really great projects that we should all wait for. Actually, my question is related to RScan. Um, actually, I wasn't really caring for barcode scanners until Seeing AI. When Seeing AI was released, it contained something which is the guidance. So when you are closer to the barcode, you will be getting beeps, and the beeps will be quicker and stronger, or faster and stronger, whenever you are coming closer. So actually, the problem with barcodes that you can't know where the barcode is located, at which side, or even sometimes it's not on the side. So I think this guidance is very important for a blind person, just to know where should I stop, or where should I start, like moving my phone slowly. So is it possible to have something similar in your application?
This is a very good question, and my answer is that this was also a consideration back in the days when RScan was being just on a drawing board, because sometimes when I get some crazy idea, I just come to mailing lists, and I'm telling people, hey, listen, I have this fantastic idea, and what would you say if we did this, and would you like it, would you use it, and what would you do else or better or whatever. And one of the concerns that I have received from Czechoslovakian blind people in our communities was that barcode scanning is like never going to work. Well, never going to, like it's not going to be very efficient, because blind people will have trouble locating the barcodes. And I was like, okay, like let's try and let's see what the results are. And I have developed the first version of RScan, and I have based it on Google's MLKit library that's that has an engine for scanning barcodes. And now this library is intended to for computer vision tasks. In other words, like in areas like robotics and similar. So in other words, it's designed to be very efficient and very uh, uh, very resilient to various visual conditions. For example, to work when you have, for example, the barcode rotated. Yeah, like it doesn't matter if it's upside down on its side or whatever. Whatever point you scan or you are scanning from, it should work. Also the light conditions and similar aspects. And I have based RScan on this engine, and the results are truly amazing. And I really recommend you to try it out, and I would love to hear your opinion, because from my experience and experience of other people from Czechoslovakia, the scanning is really crazily efficient. It literally takes just in magnitude of seconds, like few seconds, for a blind person to scan a product, because you just get in your hand whatever, like a box or like chocolate or whatever you are going to scan. You usually have an approximate idea of where to search for the barcodes. I have, by the way, uh, uh, written down tips in the README of the project on my GitHub. So if uh, 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 I'm blind from my 11 years, and before that I was sighted, so I have an approximate imagination of how barcodes are located and where. But I have also written down tips for blind people, where to start searching on various kind of products. But okay, so regardless of whether you have an idea or not, then it's usually enough to just point your smartphone from whatever position, to the sides of to one of the sides of the products, and in few seconds, if the barcode is there, it's usually picked picked up right away, right? So it's really, from my experience, it's really efficient. And I often, for example, when scanning bottles or cans, I'm doing it in such a way that I take the bottle in one hand. I have like in my left hand, and I take my smartphone in my right hand, and I point the camera on the bottle with my right hand, and then the left hand is just rotating the bottle. And of course it can be pretty clumsy, especially if the bottle is full and heavy, like 1.5 liter bottles can have some weight. But if, even so, it usually gets the barcode right away. So it's enough to just if you can get the object into a position where it will be on the camera, then it will certainly be picked. So uh, I have received very positive feedback on this, also from people who are congenitally blind and who were skeptical about the performance and the ability to find the barcodes. And even these people have written me that it's awesome, and it works really great for them, that's very efficient and they can use it. Um, so yes, if you get to test it, I would also love to hear your opinion. And if there were if you would think that it needs some kind of guidance feature, then it absolutely is something that could be considered.
So to be honest, I didn't test the app until now. I'm going to, of course, and it should be also reviewed on the accessible Android website. But actually, I was basing my question on the previous tests with other applications. So just to be fair with your app, it's not tested yet. Just it is based on the Lookout tests before and the Envision, where usually I wasn't getting good results until, as I told you, the Seeing AI thing. So maybe your app will deal with things better. So for this reason, I should test it, of course, and see the results as a totally blind person.
Mhm.
And I think that what makes the difference is that, so if anytime you're using it, if you're not on a side that has the code, it's not going to make any noise or whatever. But, as soon as you rotate that and the barcode or the QR code is in view, it's going to tell you what it is. So it just it's the same idea. And sometimes, to be honest, I don't like noises. I'm one of those that I'm not into noises, beeps and all of that, and hence the reason why I turn off what we call the ear cons on my phone. I don't want any of those. So I think I like the idea of this RScan, because I don't want to keep hearing beep, 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 beep until I got to what I need. No, I just wanted to tell me once that thing is in view. And so I think I prefer your approach.
Yes, I mean, yes, as I mentioned that usually when the application doesn't tell you anything, it doesn't mean that you are scanning like the barcode incorrectly, that it would be in view, but your smartphone is not positioned correctly or something like that. But it usually simply means that the barcode is not on the side or in the field of view that you are scanning. So you can like safely assume, mostly you can like safely assume that you need to move further with the scanning. And like, yes, it would be probably inappropriate to say that to say that my application is working better than all the others or something similar. So I'm not doing such claims, and they would be hard to justify or prove or whatever. I would just really like to hear your feedback. That so far has been very positive. When it also when it comes to scanning feedback and like results. And yes, if there are any problems, then I will be very very glad to hear back.
So when it detects the barcode, it will just give you that it is processing, right? So in this way, the person will be able to know that it is now processing the barcode. And if it doesn't like recognize it, like it's able to detect the barcode, but it's not recognizable, it will tell you that this was not recognized, right?
Actually, about this, the recognition process, like when the application picks a barcode, uh, then it's the identification process is very quick, because all the application basically does is just looks it up on DuckDuckGo. So internet wise, it's just few bytes that are sent around, and and then the algorithm of the application is like very quick. So there is not even a processing message or anything like that. When barcode is captured, it's immediately sent for description, and the resulting description is immediately read aloud, and it works like most of the time you get right away, therefore the correct description. Sometimes when there is no correct description on the internet, uh, basically two scenarios can happen. You either get something that's completely unrelated to products or similar stuff, if at least some search results are returned by the search engine. And but this is usually a clearly recognizable garbage, like you get back, for example, uh, some kind of long number or other weird stuff. It doesn't happen very often. The more common scenario is that the search engine doesn't return any search results at all if the product cannot be found online. And in that case, RScan will simply show in the search list the type of the barcode, and then you can like assign your own description to the barcode. I have an experimental version of RScan developed that continues this scenario further, and the reason for this was that I was facing the situation, because, as I mentioned before, most of items in my location can be recognized and identified by RScan right away. But there is a certain class of products that sort of is avoiding the public detection. Like mostly things that are very special and unordinary, that they are hard to find online. And for these scenarios, I have implemented an experimental feature in RScan that if you scan a barcode and there is no meaningless result. I mean, you get a beep, so you know that the application has picked up something, but there is no meaningless description. Then you can just shake your device, and RScan will automatically start lookout for you, and you can use lookout for determining what are you holding in your hand. So, like, what is it? And when you know it, then you close the lookout, and as you and the system will automatically return you to the RScan application, and RScan will notice that you have closed a lookout, and will automatically ask you by speech recognition what was the thing that you were scanning, and then you can just tell it what you find out it was, and it will automatically assign a label for that barcode. So if you scan it in the future, you will get right away the description. So this is an experimental feature that's not yet available in the RScan version that you can find in the Google Play. It's in its own branch in the GitHub repository. So for people who have experience with compiling Android applications, they can already try it out. I think I have even distributed the experimental versions as APK in the Czechoslovak community, but it's not something that would be published just yet. But I'm aware of this scenario as well, and it's likely going to land as a feature in the upcoming releases.
So you said if there is no label for the barcode, what can be done is once a person adds a label to the barcode, you can make like a database and store it on your side somewhere. So whenever there's an update to that database, someone adds a new barcode label, the app can automatically download that database, and it can look locally first to see if that barcode exists in the database, and then go to DuckDuckGo. Also, can you change the lookout from DuckDuckGo to Google? Let's say there is no such country, but if there is a country that has blocked DuckDuckGo, then they can change to Google.
So basically, first to answer your question regarding the local database. So when you are manually assigning labels to barcodes, then there are stored these descriptions are stored locally on your phone, and they have always they are always preferred over like search results from DuckDuckGo. So if you have assigned at some point description to a barcode, uh, then it will be and you scan that barcode in the future, it will be automatically read aloud without even doing an internet search. So this is the way it currently works. Unfortunately, right now mm, there is no synchronization of the local database, so which is something that I do recognize as a problem. So you cannot like easily synchronize your barcode description with your other devices, and the reason why this is still not in place, despite being quite important feature is that back in the time when I was developing RScan in the high school, I couldn't afford a server that could run like that like something that could store and provide the synchronization uh, for for the users. But now I already do have my own server. So yes, this is something I'm definitely planning on working on, and is very very high on my to-do list. Actually, I think it's the most it's the first thing I'm going to be working on for next updates. So yes, I'm keeping this in mind. And as regarding the search engines, mm, DuckDuckGo. The reason why DuckDuckGo is there are two reasons basically. First of all, is the usability and privacy. The usability part is that DuckDuckGo is very friendly to automatic automatic queries by programs, while Google can be more aggressive when it gets to uh, be you know getting results by applications and automatic queries. So DuckDuckGo is more like program friendly, and also by quality testing, I have well, because my most important worry was that whether the search results of DuckDuckGo and Google will be of comparable quality. But I really found out that while I personally do not have very good experience using DuckDuckGo as an ordinary search engine, that uh, I have very my experience with barcodes was actually very very good, and completely on par with Google. So uh, this and then there is also the DuckDuckGo privacy factor that. It's much more friendly, at least in regards to their privacy policy and other conditions. Right now, I'm not sure if there are countries that are blocking that go, but I will check it out. Check it out. I know some services are blocked, but I was not aware that go is among them. So I will check that out. But anyway, I at some point I wanted to introduce an option for the users to use Tor network for connecting to the DuckDuckGo for privacy reasons. So their uh, product scanning would be like better protected from privacy point of view. So, and this would also uh, uh, resolve partially uh, the connectivity issues. Of course, there would be another problem that if you have a country where Tor is blocked, then well, you have basically the same issue. But Tor already has mechanisms for avoiding this, like the Tor bridges and other solutions. So, in other words, like yes, I do realize that there are countries where DuckDuckGo may be possibly blocked or in bad position. But at the same time, if you are facing a similar situation, then you are probably in in you need a more there are more things that you need to carry about and resolve as a consequence of that.
So this is just a point. Right now, no country is blocking DuckDuckGo. This was just my assumption. Like, if tomorrow something
Hmm.
blocks it, can we change to Google or some different search engine
Hmm.
or that? Because right now it's not blocked.
Hmm. Yes, I see. Yes, I see. The actually the architecture, the application architecture is prepared to be flexible. So in terms of the code and of the programming code of the application, that is prepared for any changes. So yes, if anything happens, it should be very easy to implement workarounds for this. Perhaps one more thing that I would like to mention regarding the automatic identification that was not mentioned yet is that I have previously mentioned that for the algorithm, uh, in order to, because when you search a barcode on the internet, then you get basically you get all range of results, because for the search engine the barcode is just some weird number. So you get several results containing the product that you are looking for, but then you are getting also some other unrelated nonsense, or simply random hits that happen to contain some kind of similar number that to what you are searching for. And RScan is basically selecting from this list what it thinks to be the most appropriate this description. It's mostly right, but as I mentioned before, this process is very dependent on the local units used in the country that where you are having these products. So, for example, in and given the program is being developed in Europe, then it's designed to recognize European units. That means like kilograms, grams, and meters, and and more. I think I have actually listed them in the README of the project. So, but it doesn't contain yet uh, units from other parts of the world. Most importantly, United States and the UK, that use completely different unit systems. So uh, I would really love to uh, tell this way that if there are any users from these countries of RScan, if you are not getting super fitting description, then then it's not it may not be the mistake of the algorithm, but simply the consequence that it doesn't contain it's not made for the local units just yet. And in such case, I would really love to hear from you and receive feedback, because it absolutely can be done to work. I just need some actual data from these parts of the world, so I could fine tune the algorithm as good as possible.
Well, thank you so much, Rastislav. This has been absolutely beautiful process getting to know about RScan and all of that. And I'm so glad that you actually took your time to come on and talk to us about it. How do people reach you? Would they send you feedback on your website, or could they send you feedback from the app? Or if someone wants to reach you, how do they get hold of you?
Thank you also again for the invitation. It's really great to be in this podcast and talking about my app and the production. And yes, the contact information uh, on my GitHub. The best way to contact me is through my email address, which is rastislav.kish@protonmail.com. You can also find this application on my GitHub profile. Although I think that you need to be logged in to actually see the address on the GitHub website. But those of you who can use Git can just clone the repository and see in the commits the address. And but yes, if you don't, then you can just log into GitHub and see the address, and that's the most reliable way of contacting me, because I'm checking my emails regularly, and therefore I can just see it right away.
Great. We'll put that email address in our show notes so that if someone wants to reach you, they'll find that email there in our show notes. So, guys, if you want to reach Rastislav, look at our show notes and be able to send him feedback there. And so, and carry on from there. And if you're here in the States or in the UK, we encourage you to install it. And in this way, we could give him feedback to know how it works or what is not working here, most especially with our measurement units and all of that. So, but really, we thank you so much that you took your time to come on and talk about RScan. I am going to be playing with it a lot today, being home alone. Time for the mouse to come out and play. Cats are gone. So definitely I'm going to be playing with it, and then I'll be recording a little app demo for our next episode app of the week.